Yes, you see, what's interesting to know and to note is that the United States, the country, or what everybody thinks is a country, is actually a corporation, and can't really hear that enough. And what they've done is they're a bankrupt corporation, and they've, in order to stay in business, and it is a business, they had to put up some collateral in 1933 after they already put up the collateral for the states and the federal government, the sovereignty for that. So what they did is they made you into a corporation. They brought in what's called international maritime law, or the law of the water. They drew the water lines back, and so it's a whole different law system. Your birth certificate was made into a bond, and that bond was sold to the International Monetary Fund, the IMF. So they own what you think is you. Your what has been known to be called the straw man, which is your name in all capital letters. Every bill and everything you get, it's all in uppercase, all capital letters. It's not you, it's your straw man. So it's important to separate yourself and know exactly what that is. And that's my whole thing. And it seems like, the most important thing out there that people should learn moving forward. Because you are the collateral for this corporation, and your labor basically has been sold to the International Monetary Fund. They basically own who you think is you. And every time, like say there's a bill in Congress, that's exactly what it is. It's a bill because they owe so much money. They have to bill us or make new laws. And under this commercial system, this admiralty law that we're under now, this law of the water, all crimes and everything is commercial. That's why there's more people in prison in this country than any other country in the world. And when I see it in a kind of an all big one scope picture, it really blows my mind how devious and and how just really messed up things are, because they own the school systems and they train and I'm not even going to call them slaves anymore, but us. It's more of we're serfs basically, because we're indebted servants. They train from the school to think this is the way things work, and you get your education, you get your degree, you get your job, and you pay your taxes for the rest of your life. If you can make it through the obstacle course that they've set up in front of you, everything is really set up to get money out of you. Because the truth of the matter is when they set the bond up for you in your name, and they took all the gold and silver out of circulation, the real money, in 1933, you and I are the only ones that have any money. But they've led you to believe that the banks have the money and the government has the money, but it's not true. That's why they have to come to you to get it. They set your bond up, and it's like when you go to cash your paycheck, they're actually loaning you money out of your treasury bond, your exemption account. So your Federal Reserve note it's a note. It's a promise to pay. Do you understand that? It's like when you buy a house, they give you a note. This is your note. This is your promise to pay us. But when you cash your check, they're giving you a note too. So you have to pay it back because you're part of the corporation. That's why you file a tax return. Now you are part of the corporation, but they're gonna allow you a certain amount of. They know you have to eat and live and get a car and to get back and forth to your job and everything. So they're gonna allow you a certain amount. Those are your exemptions. Being very, very general here. So they allow you a certain amount of money to operate. You're exempt, and then the rest has to be paid back to them because it's money that's borrowed. It's owed. And what's interesting to note is that with the 9/11 thing and the implementation of Homeland Security. They want to bring in more laws or more bills so they can make more money off you and I. And pretty soon it's probably going to be illegal to fart on a street corner, or do anything, because they want to charge you and they want to get you in the prison system. And some people say this is why they're building FEMA camps and all these things, because the IMF owns everything, and they want to come in and collect on their property, which is what you and I think is us, but it's not us. So that's what I'm trying to stand out here and say, hey, it's not you. You're a sovereign human being. You're not a corporate fiction. You're not a piece of paper. And these debts are illegitimate debts that they say that you owe. This national debt, I think everybody's responsible for like $80,000 now. And if you have a child right now that's born, they're automatically slapped with the $80,000 that they owe as soon as you give them the birth certificate bond. And I hate to tell you this, folks, but that's not freedom. That ain't freedom, baby. And what's interesting to note too is that the court system, if you look into the court system and how all that whole machination works, see, the court is the bank. They are the people collecting for the IMF. They're the administrators of the corporate bankruptcy. So it's their job to charge you. And it's interesting to note too that under the international maritime law, there doesn't have to be a victim for a crime. And before we went into this, there had to be a victim in order for there to be a crime. Now there's codes and statutes. Codes and statutes only apply to corporations, but they want you to think that you are a corporation. That's the scam, and that's what every day pisses me off and drives me, because I want people to understand this. It's very difficult to get people to understand how this thing works. You're competing with American Idol and all that shit, football and basketball. But we have to understand this, because I think that this information is going to save your life. Because let me just tell you this, that all the wars and everything that are going on right now are being funded by the prison system. If you get charged with a crime, they make a bond out of the charge. You sign for it and you agree to it. It's all voluntary, but if you agree to it and you sign these 3 bonds that they put together, once you're convicted, and you notice how they have the sentencing separate, that's where they attach the charges to you, and then they put you in a federal warehouse, just like a piece of property. They sell those bonds on Wall Street, and that's what's funding the whole thing. And that's what's scary to me, is because they're making a lot of money on it. These international bankers who don't give a crap about anybody but themselves, and they look at us as cattle. They'll put those bonds on you, and the more laws that they make, the more Homeland Security, the more Patriot Act bullshit they put together, are the more people they're going to put in the prisons. Now they're building prisons as fast as they can put them together. And like I said, there's more people in prison in this country on victimless crimes, just breaking a code and a statute. And they've fooled everybody, and they've trained us from birth that this is the way things are. And we need to start reversing this. Now I want to tell you, if this kind of the information interests you, I'd like to send you a full package of everything that I'm talking about, so you can get up to speed. Go to stopthepirates.blogspot.com, and I have a PDF package together. I'll send it to you. It's going to break everything down so you can figure all this stuff out. Do it for yourself. Do it for your family. Things are getting bad, and they're going to get worse. And you need to know how to use your straw man, what your straw man is, and how to operate in commerce. You have to turn off the TV and the football games and study your ass off for about 6 months. but I think you're going to like what you see, and it's going to give you it's going to get you out of the matrix and into freedom. Stop the pirates. Blogspot.com. Thanks. Have a great day.